Early Childhood Education, Research 1. Dear educators and teachers, good afternoon and welcome to my research presentation. The topic of my research is the partnership between educators and culturally linguistically parents by Dimitra Budzuka. Research questions. How do early childhood educators support families from culturally and linguistically diverse backgrounds in their early childhood settings? How do early childhood educators make the program inclusive for children from culturally and linguistically diverse backgrounds? Let's find out. Approach. Qualitative approach is evidence in this research as the researcher wants to investigate and interpret early childhood educators' insights while supporting and practice inclusiveness. The aim is to boost partnership with culturally and linguistic families within their services. The approach will support the researcher to collect data by educators' collaboration and strategies used to communicate with families in their natural work settings. The researcher adopts an inductive approach for this study as the research aims to investigate and record the pre-stated research questions, withdrawing any hypothesis, predetermining any ideas for the research. Philosophy. The research adapts the social structure of social constructivism as the study aims to investigate practices and strategies used by teachers in a multicultural environment, while at the same time the researcher will look at participants' perspectives as they work and live in a community in a changing environment, something that can shape teachers' thinking differently over the time. Paradigm. The research falls on the interpretism paradigm, as the researcher respects individual perspectives and thinking and supports that interpretation can have different information. The researcher aims to explore and collect details about the real practices that educators develop a partnership with cultural and linguistic diverse background families. The research will also examine practices followed by cultural and linguistic educators on inclusive practices and programs incorporated into the curriculum and to teach diverse children. Then the researcher will explore any implications that may be suggested by the educators to identify any lack of the practices followed towards inclusiveness to diverse children and parents. Methods. Interviews. Semi-structured face-to-face interviews will use open-ended questions seeking the truth and allow participants to express their thinking and personal beliefs. We'll use closed questions to control the variables and structure the design and ethnography of the participants, such as culture and linguistic backgrounds, qualifications, age, and work experience. The reliability will be obtained through the semi-structured interviews as the closed questions allow critical and reflective thinking by adding validity to the study. Observations. Naturalistic observations. The aim is to observe how educators support, communicate, interact, what strategies they use, and how they develop inclusive programs and partnership. The triangulation is to seek the truth. The researcher will collect and analyze the data to investigate the truth while educators reflect, practice, and interact with culturally and linguistically diverse children and parents to develop the partnership. The researcher will record all the aspects of educational practices and collect data from true practices as much as possible. This will limit and establish an understanding of any gaps that might be revealed during practicing by giving validity to the research. Ethical considerations. The researcher will obey the Code of Ethics by ECA, the Privacy Act by Australian Government, and the United Nations Convention of the Rights of the Children by UNICEF. To implement the study, the steps are: obtain permission from the director prior to the study begins, inform the participants and director with the purpose of the study through the research introduction letter, provide and collect the agreement letter from participants to allocate them. Then, to ensure confidentiality, the research will not record any personal details such as name and surname. The structure will be you record rooms and participants by using letters and numbers to achieve privacy rights and to avoid any time wasted by interviewing and observing the same participants. The researcher will monitor the emails daily in case a participant withdraws from the research, as stated in the letter of consent for the rights of the participants. Ethical attitudes will always be followed by the researcher to ensure that participants do not feel pressure or that they are judged. Participants are aware and have the right to request a copy of the study as stated on the consent letter. Thank you.